Because you're watching porn, by the way. It's not a show.
It's not.
Porn.
It's the story.
That guy's penis is not real.
No, of course. It's probably a prosthetic.
No, but I don't know if you know that.
Yay Networks.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of TogetherMess. I hope you guys liked the first episode. Today, what do you want to dive into?
We're going to talk about family, marriage, our kids, what we're doing today.
It's only episode 2.
What do you mean?
You laid it on pretty thick.
Well, everything's messy. It's not perfect.
I know, but geez, I felt like I was in a therapy session, and I was like getting a Groupon. And you're like, we're going to fit it all in, Doc. Let's just ease up, and we'll get into all that stuff. We'll talk about family, catch people up on what we've been doing the last couple of years for the people who did watch us on YouTube, and then a fun little segment I want to try, maybe to express some of my feelings or disappointments.
Jeff always has something to say.
There's always something that bothers me on a weekly basis, and you got to stick around to see what it is this week, but we got a little treat for you towards the end. But let's start with some family stuff and catch people up on what we've been doing.
Because if you saw Jeff and Jordan TV, Lawson was a newborn. Leighton wasn't even around. So now we're going to catch you back up, and you all can see what we're doing now.
All right, so let's dive in.
So I hope y'all returned for the second episode. The first episode, we filled y'all in about us being on Big Brother and about how we kind of became a couple.
Right. And again, we're going to touch on more of that stuff. Reality, even reality shows that we weren't on, like Vanderpump, which is my favorite. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But let's fill people in a little bit about where we were, because we know a lot of people that are tuning in are new, but a lot of you followed us when we did Jeff and Jordan TV. So that was 5 years ago, and we're going to catch you up a little bit about what's been going on since then.
So if you watch Jeff and Jordan TV, Lawson was just a baby, like just born. And I talk about my birthing experience. Why does it sound weird? Experience. I talk about postpartum depression. I talk about all that
stuff. Which I want to get into one episode,
we will talk
too,
that.
Like get
another episode.
Right.
So we started Jeff and Jordan TV because it was going to be Road to the Wedding. And it was about us preparing our wedding in Mexico. Jeff and I go to Mexico to plan our wedding. I get pregnant in Mexico. And
my little buddy saved me like 50 G's. So,
yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
And then same thing with Leighton. This is actually a funny story. We're here in Denver. And I called Jeff's at work. And actually, let me go back and say this. We're here in Denver because Jeff got a job working on a show out here. It's called Daily Blast Live. So that brought us here to Denver in 2017. So we've been here since then. But
have we done a Jeff and Jordan TV
in 2020?
But were we in this house yet?
Yeah.
Oh,
it
we
was
were.
Us,
so some of the
because it was COVID, and you were slower at work, and we had some time because the world was shut down.
That's right. So people know this is our second place here in Denver.
We did live in a tiny apartment in Cherry Creek, and I was like,
tiny. It was 2 bedrooms.
It was tiny. And
the apartment in LA was tiny.
Tinier. Lawson had like
tinier.
It was. Okay, so the apartment in LA was 750 square feet.
Let's go small, medium, large.
The apartment in Cherry Creek with the family of 4 was like 1,200 square feet. It was tiny.
I guess it was tiny.
It was actually when we moved from California and we walked into the Denver apartment, we're like, this place is huge.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, now if we walked in, we'd be like, oh my gosh, this is like our small set, but whatever, who cares? Why are you even talking about this?
Because I don't know, I kind of like you hate our like 600 square foot apartment, whatever it was, and I'm so proud of like those days. It's like where we started together.
Okay, so you want me to tell you why I hated it?
Every time I try to get like sentimental, you totally miss it.
I told you I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin.
All right, go ahead. Let's get into. Tell us why you hated it, and then let's get into a little family business.
It was what parking, like the sweeping days. You had to move your car on what, like Monday, Wednesday, or like a Tuesday, Thursday.
A lot of people listening still have to do that.
I always got tickets, and then
I didn't like that part.
Okay, and we only had one parking spot, which was It was the worst. And then we had to share a laundry with the whole apartment unit. So if you would take all your laundry up there and then somebody was doing their laundry all day, you would just have to sit and wait.
Again, a lot of people understand.
And then I would have to go to Ralph's and buy get a whole roll of quarters so I could do laundry. And I'm like, why can't we just have a laundry unit? That stuff I didn't like.
Okay.
I could keep going.
Yeah, but you're just saying things that people already know. Oh, man, I hate it when I ran out of gas in L.A. Yeah, you run out of gas.
Okay, let's...
Keep the podcast half full.
Okay, let's continue. So we came, my whole thing was with Leighton. So we came here to Denver because of his work.
Right.
And we're not planning Leighton either. And that was like another drunken night, probably. I feel like every time we got...
Don't you ever say drunk?
Well, every time we got drunk, I felt like I got pregnant. In Mexico. That's why. Remember, we were in the bathtub singing that song we made.
Oh wow, those Dub Smash.
Dub Smash.
Dude, Dub Smash was the best.
Dub Smash
ever.
was, I guess, like a TikTok now, and we were.
You're right. You know what? That's exactly.
Yeah.
Insert Dub Smash. I have a bunch of videos.
And it was, what was that song? By Starship. And we can build this dream together.
Wow,
and we're in the bathtub.
Okay, we were drunk. Every episode
That was the night
but we were
Lawson...
wearing the robes, and we were in a bathtub with no water.
And that was the night Lawson was made. And then... Oh my God. And then Leighton, it was just, I don't know, it was just a night. And then... yeah, I find out I'm at the gym.
They're going to listen to this one day, possibly.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. And one day listen, anything we've done is non-traditional. We didn't get...
I thought you meant like it's all captured on television.
That too.
Yeah.
But anyways.
We got married at the Beverly Hills Courthouse, so I did keep it a little classy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was all right.
It was cool.
It was cool. Well, listen, it was just...
It was a cool day. We got married at the Beverly. We wore nice outfits.
I was just going to wear like what I'm wearing now. And this girl I worked with was like, you're not going to wear a dress? And I was like, no. I was like, I'm going to the courthouse. I could care less. I was pregnant. I was like distraught because I was pregnant because I was so excited about getting married. And then like my whole world turned around.
All right. We'll talk about the marriage. Let's get into some family stuff.
Okay, I'm trying to get there and you keep interrupting me.
I think you keep going off road and stay on the highway.
So Leighton, I'm feeling like, I feel like I could be pregnant again. And I went to the gym and there was a lady beside me on the treadmill running and she was pregnant. And I was like, I think I am pregnant. I'm feeling nauseous. I'm feeling extra tired. And I was like, everything I felt like with Lawson, that's how I'm feeling with Leighton. So I get off the treadmill. Lawson's at the daycare in the gym. I run to Ralph's and go, not Ralph's.
Store.
Not Ralph's. I'm thinking
that's L.A.
King Soopers.
Yeah, which is a weird name.
And I run to King Soopers and get a pregnancy test and go back to the gym and take a pregnancy test, and right away, pregnant. And I was like, oh. So I leave the gym, get Lawson, go back to the house. You're about to go on air.
Yeah.
And I called you, and I go...
between shows, and I was about to go on air.
And I go, Jeff, I need to talk to you. And he's like, what? Like, what's wrong? And...
Yeah, and then so I'm on the phone about to go on air. I'm like, what? Just tell me. And she's like, I'm pregnant. We're having a kid. And I was like, they're like, Jeff. And I was like, I got to go. And I hung up and I forgot what we were talking about. I was like, the whole time on air, I was like, oh my God, I'm having a kid. And they're like, what do you think, Jeff? I'm like, I don't know. Whales are cool. I don't even know what I was talking about because I was so in shock.
And then I remember you called me after the show and you're like, why did you tell me that before the show? You were like, I'm like, what's going on? I think you were in shock for
I was in shock. I was in shock. I was not expecting that.
Yeah. And so then, you know what though? Where I'm going at with this?
Yeah, I was wondering
nothing
that too.
is ever planned. Like you're like, I need to get married. I need to have a good job. I need to have a kid. And then you need to have it organized. It's just like if you keep holding things off to, I'm going to wait till I make a certain amount of money. That's when I can afford a kid. It's like you just have to go with it and ride that wave. And I mean, like I said, when Lawson was born, you weren't, it wasn't steady. It was auditioning and all this stuff. And we kind of did freak out, but we were just like, okay, this is life. We got to figure it out, you know?
It's messy.
And it is. It's definitely messy. And the same thing with Leighton. I remember being like, okay, Lawson has a room. Now Leighton doesn't have a room. What are we going to do now? And it just worked out.
It does. You have to stay positive. And one day I'll go into that whole story about when Leighton, we found out we were pregnant with Leighton, and I got let go from a couple of my agents. That's like a good long story that we'll dive into one day.
No, you said Leighton. You mean Lawson.
Lawson, I'm sorry. I mix them up all the time. So
Yeah.
we're going to have to correct that. But let's bring them up to date where we're at right now. We
So
kind of
fast
drift
forward.
off in the past a little bit.
Sorry.
Our boys are 6 and 4 now. Lawson's the oldest. Leighton's the youngest. Leighton just graduated preschool. Lawson's about to go into first grade next year. They're actually outside playing right now with the neighbors. They're a little bit more on their own, which is very nice for us.
I feel like we're those parents, though. Like, we
live in a beautiful cul-de-sac, and someone's parents are outside for all the haters out there. Because people like to just get on
Listen.
you. But listen, here's the thing.
Control your own kid. Worry about your own kids.
For sure.
Parenting is worry about your own kids. Do not judge. You know how many times we probably said this? When I'm a parent, I'm not making my kids separate meals. Well, you know what? You're going to make you do what you have to do to survive.
Yeah, here's some advice. Don't give advice about parenting.
Because every kid is so different.
Yeah, but like I said, we do the best that we can, right? I feel like we're very good parents, but they're outside playing with the neighbors' kids. We live in a beautiful like little area, and everyone watches everyone's kids. It's kind of like a movie, right? Like at least our little corner of this.
Well, that's why I picked the neighborhood that we're in, because I went in it. When I drove through it when I was looking at places, and I was like, this is like how I grew up. Kids are outside, they're playing, they're not on their tablets. And listen, I'm not hating on anybody with their tablets, because I'm that person. If my kids are being bad in the restaurant, I'm like, take my phone, watch YouTube, because I don't feel like dealing with it, right? I want to enjoy dinner. So I'm not saying I'm not hating on anybody if you're giving your kids your tablets. You have to do what you have to do to survive. But it is nice. I love that. Like right now, Lawson's got his shirt off playing football and a swimsuit. And I'm like, why do you have your swimsuit on right now? And then yesterday, one of the neighbor's kids had on a costume. And I was like, this is the best. Like, then they're just happy and they're playing.
Yeah.
That's what kids need to do.
Could you believe, though, that our kids are 6 and 4 now?
No,
like because when you say it?
I remember people would always say, what's that saying? The days are long, but the years are short. I actually did a post about that on Instagram, and I get it now. Like before, I didn't understand it. I was like, okay, yeah, just get me through this. And it was long days. You were never home. You were always working, and it was just me and the boys. And by the end of the day, I was exhausted. But looking back, and I thought the day was never going to end. And now it's like, wow, it's gone by so fast. Now they can, they don't need me. Lawson can come down in the morning when he wakes up on a Saturday and fix his own cereal. I don't have to get up and get a bottle, sanitize the bottle, do all that stuff. I do not miss that stage at all, by the way.
Yeah. One of our friends told us, Bayard, and he's like,
yeah,
when we were having a rough time, and young parents always have rough times, but it's like, he told me one time, and I never forgot it, and I give everyone that advice. I'm like, you're always going to have problems, but they're always going to be different problems. Mm-hmm. And it's true. Like, whatever the problem is, that problem's going to go away.
Yeah.
But another one's going to take its place. So don't stress too much about what's going on at the moment, because that problem's going to pass, but then you're going to have a whole different problem on your hands.
Like
that was like the best advice I got.
Right now, it's Leighton. I personally think 4-year-olds are the hardest. And because he knows how to talk back. And I told, what was it I said to him the other day? I was like, you're not patient. You need to learn to be patient, Leighton. And because will keep asking, I want Lucky Charms. I want Lucky Charms. I want Lucky Charms. And he doesn't stop until you get it. And it drives you nuts. And I said, Leighton, we need to learn patience. So when he was still in school last week, I was like, Leighton, you are going to make us late for school. Get out of the car. And every day it was a standoff. And he looked at me and said, which some things I try not to laugh. I have to like have a mean face. But he looked at me and he goes, Mom, wait, you need patience. And I was like, oh my God. And then, but I was like, Leighton, don't talk to me like that and get out of the car right now. But inside I was laughing.
I love when when they when they say things and you're like, oh my God, that's so funny, but really you're mad at the time and you don't want to like laugh to let them know that you're kind of laughing at it too. You know? Those are funny.
Or Leighton went to a Christian preschool, so he learned about God and all this stuff. So if he hears you say a cuss word or something, let's say Jeff and I are having a separate conversation. Kids are, near, but they're not in the conversation. And Jeff says, I don't know, one of your cuss words that you always say. And Leighton goes, Mom, God does not like that. It makes me laugh because he learned. He goes, God doesn't like that, right, Mom? I'm like, nope, he does not.
And they're so smart. Lawson, I'm just being sarcastic. Lawson, we had like a tornado scare in the area, whatever, in Denver not too long ago. And so we're like, listen, you can't mess around with like Mother Nature, trying to teach him about like all that stuff. He goes, why? Why not? And we're like, the tornado will just pick you up and spin you around and throw you out. And he goes, yeah, I'll just land on a trampoline. And I was like, all right, well, it seems like you got it all figured out.
Yeah, but it's cute how their minds, they're so innocent.
Until they're not.
Oh, yeah, we know that. We definitely have, like, lost our cool. But anyways, that's where we're at right now with our kids. That's where we're at with parenting. No one's perfect. Parenting is so hard. It's, you love them and then you hate them one day.
How do you think our relationship has, I mean, we're good, but how do you think our relationship has been different, since having kids?
Well, I think in the beginning, it's good that we were friends before we were together because we built that foundation. Like we were buddies, like we could talk to each other if there was a problem. And I think, I can definitely see why couples will have issues because, okay, we're going back to this. Actually, a lot of my friends, we watch Sex Life. If you haven't seen it on Netflix, you have to watch it. It is so good. And it's so true because
first of all, it's not true.
In Sex Life, on a woman's side, you're up all night, you're breastfeeding, you've gained weight, you're not getting dressed and ready. You don't feel like putting on your makeup. Your baby's on your nipple all the time, and it could be bleeding. Remember, I made you go get me like nipple paste or something for my nipples because they were they were so raw. And it's just like
Hold on, let me get back to Sex Life real fast because I have to say something. If you didn't watch Sex Life, Jordan tried to get me to watch Sex Life, and I didn't want to watch it. But I popped in for like a quick view, and I'm not even kidding. I was there for 5 minutes, and I just go, get the F out of here. So this guy has a British accent and he walks in and I'm like, who's that guy? And she's like, that's her husband. And he's following the British guy who's having sex with her husband. And I walk in and this guy goes in the shower and his dong is down to his knee. And I'm like, all right, what's happening in our relationship that you need to be watching this? Because you're watching porn, by the way. It's not a show.
It's not. Porn. It's the story.
That guy's penis is not real.
No, of course. It's probably a prosthetic.
No, but I don't know if you know that. It's not real.
I don't care about that. It's the storyline. And that's what me and all my friends, we're on a group
That's the problem.
No, we're on a group chain. And you're either...
First of all, you're in fantasy land.
Cooper. I love Cooper.
Did you text all your friends that, hey, we all watch porn together?
It's good. Listen, y'all would love it. It's not... I don't watch porn. It was
Yes,
good.
you do. It's called Sex Life.
Okay.
And they have
if you're
prosthetic
listening,
penises.
I don't know if anybody can comment on here. You have to. All of my moms watch it because you will understand. But I
get what you're saying, but
I see why people have those problems because you are distant, and then after you have a kid, you can't have sex for 6 weeks? I think it's 6 weeks.
Right?
6 weeks, 8 weeks, you can't have sex.
Yeah.
And then you feel distant with your partner because there's been like that, where I'm just like, especially when Leighton was born, I like really felt distant with you because you were
I was
gone.
working a lot.
And then
I was working
Leighton,
10 hours a day
and then
at
with
least.
the kids, and then it just, sex wasn't there. You know, you're just not in the mood.
And then I whipped on a prosthetic and everything changed.
Shut up. Oh my
And I
God.
pretend I was taking a shower with, I'll just leave it there.
Anyways, but you just don't feel attractive. You don't feel good about yourself. And that, I think, that can. And
I
we
think
do
that's
talk
normal.
about this. I think, not to bring, I feel like we're talking about sex all the time, but that is something
Well, it's a
we've
big
talked
part of a
about.
relationship,
It
like,
is.
to be honest.
If you're
Like-
not having sex, there's a problem.
Yeah, and I think, again, having a kid, I think it's normal to go through those normal stages. Maybe we should talk to somebody who knows these things, but I think we do have a good relationship. I
Yeah.
think we have a healthy relationship. People listening, if they do have kids, there's stages. Just like the kid has stages, I think so does your relationship.
But not trying to sound like we're perfect, because it took us we've been
things are
together.
messy.
We've been
Do you see
together.
what I'm throwing out there?
Yes, I see it, and I'm trying to finish
I'm
what
trying
I'm
to put out like
saying.
good social clips.
But we've been together 14 years, and that it has been work.
For sure.
It has been a lot of work. So not saying, oh, we had a kid and it's all perfect. We and him almost broke up a couple times. So it's taken a lot. Yes, we have. I'm not getting into all that, Jeff.
Oh, the country came out. Did you hear that? That's meant it's serious. That's almost like a mom using their middle name. Jeffrey Edward.
But yeah, it's taken us a lot of work to get where we are, and it's good. It's
But
healthy.
I think, part of what we're going to do on here is be honest, right? And talk
Right.
about our ups and downs and those times that we almost broke up, which I don't remember all of them.
We're going to take a quick break and thank one of our sponsors. We'll be right back.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Life is uncertain and can definitely get messy.
That's right. And that's why we started our TogetherMess podcast, because we've been very open and honest in the past about all the struggles that we've been going through. And a lot of people don't know whether I'm on top of my game or I have no game at all. When we were in LA struggling to get things working, I always needed someone to talk to. And that really helped me out, whether it was you, a best friend, and then that's where BetterHelp comes in.
I definitely learned that talking to someone will get you through some of the toughest times, because I was one of those people that held everything in. But if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, and it's designed to help you if you have long hours at work. It's convenient, it's flexible, it's suited for your schedule. I always felt weird about going to see someone, and this is online, so you can do it in your home where you're comfortable. All you have to do is just fill out a brief questionnaire, and you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime with no additional charge.
Right. You got to find somebody that works for you. Sometimes my problem is good when I talk to you. Sometimes it's good when I talk to a friend. So you got to find someone that's right for you, and BetterHelp offers that option. So I love that. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/TogetherMess today, and you get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TogetherMess.
I come from a family, divorced parents. They were married 27 years, and I have a very dysfunctional family.
I wouldn't say dysfunctional.
It's dysfunctional.
I think everyone thinks their family's dysfunctional. Your parents are divorced, just say
And
that.
my parents hate each other. They do not like each other whatsoever. Can't be in the same room, the whole thing. So if there was a wedding, a baby shower, it was the most awkward thing. And I'm glad we ended up going to the courthouse getting married, because it's almost like you have to pick. And then you're like, okay, well, Mom, I'm having a baby shower. Women go to that. So you invite your mom, but then your dad's upset because he's left out, and someone's always hurt, right?
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
But you come from a family where your parents are high school sweethearts and have been together
50-something years, yeah.
2 years, I think. So I had a lot of issues that I had to work on, because I assumed that because what happened to my parents, that was always going to happen to me.
For sure. And that was a big problem.
And that was a big problem with us.
For me.
Well, with us.
Because you just assumed that we were going to break up. And so that was like your end game. And if that was your end game, the relationship doesn't work. Right. So that was a problem for us.
And then I assumed, well, this was earlier on. This isn't, I'm not talking about later on. This is like me being immature, 23, 24-year-old. It's like, oh, you looked at this person or cheating, things like that. Like you have to have trust in that. And now it's like, go have fun, go hang out, stay
Yeah, but
away.
when do I?
No, you don't. I don't know why, but it's
yeah. Here's the thing. I don't know how many guys are listening to this.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here
the
we
old,
go.
like, hey, why don't you go with your friends to Vegas and have a good time? I don't care. I'm a cool wife. Hey, what's up? What are you doing? What? I'm at the pool. I had a couple beers. I'm in Vegas. Well, the kids are driving me crazy. You just go on vacation whenever you want.
No.
Listen, I'm not dumb. I don't fall for that anymore.
Hang on. No. Last time Jeff was in Vegas, how many times did I call you? None. Only time was the boys were like, we miss Daddy and we want to FaceTime
But
him
I'm just saying.
at night.
I know
I
it's
do
a
not
trip.
bother you when you go out. And what I liked about Jeff, if I go somewhere, like I went to the beach, was it last year or 2 years ago with two of my girlfriends, you don't bother me. Like you don't call me. You're not like, what are you doing? And all this stuff. You're just like, you'll text and be like, hey, boys want to say something to you. And then that's when we'll talk. And I feel like I show you the same respect. I think it's very annoying for somebody to keep calling their significant other all the time while they're with their friends, because you know why they're really doing that. That I find is annoying, and I respect that I love that you don't call me and bother me if I'm somewhere. I say that in a great way. I love it.
Yeah.
You don't bother. Yeah. You're just like.
But there is a little guilt thrown in there.
Everybody has mom guilt. Vacation. You say mom guilt, maybe dad guilt too. I do. You go out and you're on the beach and you're having fun, and then you do you have that guilty. You're like, man, my kids could be here on the beach too. They would be having fun. But then as soon as your kids get there and they're like, rah, you're just like, oh my God, go back home, and then you're mad again. But it's healthy for you to get away with your friends. It's very healthy. And I
got to do that pretty soon.
You need to do that soon. Yes, you do. You need to go to Vegas. I hate Vegas, by the way.
No, I just threw Vegas out there because people could relate. I'm an old Vegas guy. I don't even go to the main clubs. I go to old, dirty Vegas and keep it real.
Jeff's such a tight ass. He goes to old Vegas, and if he takes me to Vegas, we stayed in a 1980s hotel.
It's historic.
Well, actually, I'm making fun of it, but that was one of the best trips.
That was a fun trip.
We had so much fun.
That trip. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And we both saw the buffet.
That was in 1980. That was like just off the strip. That was way off the strip.
Didn't you see our room? It was so like 1980.
That's right.
And I go, this probably back in 1980 was like a penthouse, like super cool. And now it's probably like $100.
We did have so much fun. That was before kids.
And we played 5-cent stuff and tables, and it was fun because it was cheap.
Like $5 tables and things like that.
But Jeff is a tight ass. I will say that. You're a tight ass. I love you, but you're a tight ass.
I'm thrifty.
You're pretty tight.
All right, that's fine. I'll take it. I am. I do like a deal. Like this shirt I wore, I got a good deal on it. It was just a different color last week, so I just bought the other color. You know what I mean?
What'd you buy me?
There was nothing on sale. Did you even notice this shirt's exactly the same shirt I wore as last week, but it's just a different color?
I love how you try to outshine me. I'm always dressed like homeless, and you always look better than me.
No, you have to say misplaced. I don't even know what listen, we'll get into all that too. You know what I mean?
We have a lot we could say.
We mean no disrespect by that word. But yeah, it's tough now being on television every day. The podcast, not so much, because we could be a little bit looser, but sometimes you're walking a tightrope on what you can and can't say, and some of it's kind of ridiculous.
I will say, hang on,
some
I
of
will
it is
say
understandable.
This,
you know what I mean?
His show, if you haven't watched it, it's Daily Boss Live, and it is national, but not 100%.
Not 100%. Yeah, I think we're like in 65, 70% of the country, somewhere around there.
So they talk politics, they'll talk they talk about everything, pop
Yes.
culture, and you do a really good job. I'll give you a compliment on this at writing the middle where you don't offend either side.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be good with my words. I feel like I would try and I would just bomb and be canceled. But you do a good job at, okay, I could see that side on this side or that side, which I think is great because you don't see that on TV anymore because now it's you're either riding with me and I'm a liberal or you're riding with me and we're a Republican and there is no in between.
Yeah, listen, I don't want to get into politics.
We're not getting that, but all I'm
saying,
saying is you do a fine job at riding the middle.
But what I'm saying is like even on this podcast or like even on television, Big Brother has changed. You know, some things for the best, some things for the worst. Not Big Brother, I'm saying world in general. You know, so sometimes you just got to watch out for landmines. So doing this thing.
I just feel like a lot of the shows sometimes it's almost the same. Do you know what I mean? It's all the same.
Well, it's different going back to Big Brother because we'll touch on that a little bit.
People they cast. Everything is the same.
There's a formula. That's why they've been on for 25 years.
But
the way we acted on our show, I don't think maybe you could act in 14 years later.
You mean chest bump people?
Maybe you did a little chest bumping out there.
Yeah, I'm sure we would have got.
There's a lot of other things, but it's all for the good. And again, that incorporates again to our family and how we raise our kids with respect, and that we try to do our best, even though people are going to hate us for whatever reason. People are going to love us from whatever reason, but we try to teach our kids. Just especially in the age of social media, like people write mean comments for no reason just to be mean. It's going to be hard raising kids in that world because that's what I'm most worried about. So they bring them up right and teach them respect, and when they get disrespected, at some point it's going to come on social media because it's not going away. That's what I'm most worried about.
Leighton is 4 and he loves my older friend's daughters, and he asks me all the time, can you get me TikTok? I'm like, no, because he wants to dance. And Lawson's like, Mom, can we have TikTok? I'm like, no. Even YouTube is like anymore.
I don't even know if I could tell that story.
I don't know if you can either.
Yeah, they said something really. It was like you were watching an episode of Sex Life. They said something like that. And it was pornographic. And these are like kids in a YouTube house or whatever. And my kids were watching, and we have like filters on what they can watch. And they said something like.
Jeff's like, what did they say?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's inevitable.
Yeah,
so you just want to watch it a little bit.
But our kids, what I want to say is when we have conferences with our kids' teachers, I always tell them, I don't care if they're the smartest or if they are not the smartest. All I care about is that they are respectful to you and they are respectful to the kids, the faculty. That goes a long way, and that is a reflection of you. If your kid's an asshole, I would much rather my kid not be smart and be just super sweet and respectful. I'm serious.
They could be both.
No. Being an asshole, like disrespectful kid, that's not cool.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I'm saying you don't just pick one. Hey, you want to be smart? Or do you want to be an asshole? You don't just pick one.
Well, I think we're lucky. I think our kids are both. I think they're smart and respectful.
That's what I just said. You could have them be respectful and they could still read a book.
Yeah, but listen, my whole point is I just want them to be respectful to the teachers. That's it.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
This will be therapeutic, I think, as we move forward. Kind of get out some of the anger like you just showed.
I don't have anger. You do.
But mine has gotten a lot better, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why'd you pause?
Well, because you were like so different.
Aren't I good with the kids?
Oh, yeah. Like you're Chicago. So when I met Jeff and I went to Chicago to meet his family, if I didn't like Jeff's family, I wouldn't have continued to date you. And I meet your buddies and I'm like, I get it now. They're all loud. They're all like, yo, I don't know. They're like Italian guys. They're so like, how can I say it? Am I going to make somebody mad?
No.
They're just angry.
It's
and
like
loud.
where I grew up. We just, that's how we are.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, oh, what's up, Mr. Host? What's up, Schroeder? Like making fun of you. Like at the bar.
We bust each other's chops.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like back to the kids. It's like I did have all those issues, but as you get older, what remains important is your family, right? And then how your kids are being raised. And respect is...
Well, I have to give myself... I think I've helped tame you.
Yeah, well, you know what I've learned?
Tame you. What is tame? Not... That doesn't mean... That was not the right word. I
No,
think
that
I
makes sense.
helped, like, calm you.
But there's still... I don't want to say rage in there, but maybe sticking with the theme.
Let's just say you're like Larry David.
Yeah.
On Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Right, there's no violence in there.
Don't say rage. You sound like you're like gonna, yeah, it just sounds terrible. But
maybe how about this? In theme of the show,
yeah,
there's some misunderstandings. Let's call it that. Is that better?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so I'm a little more like Larry David as I get older, and I do have some misunderstandings.
I like it.
I think maybe we could make it part of our weekly episode because I definitely have something once a week that really bothers me.
Oh, Jeff's always got something. Like, why didn't that person put their cart up? Why did they park in that parking spot? Like, that car's so big. Why did they do that? They took up too much space. Why did blah, blah, blah? You always got something to say. I always have something.
Don't even get me started with the turn signals and the shopping carts. And if you don't turn left on like a yellow light, and you just stay there, like you shouldn't be able to vote in this country. But I'll get to each one individually. This week, what's been really bothering me, and I think you could get on board with this too.
Oh gosh, what?
The moths. The moths here in Colorado.
What did you call them? Mothman prophecies from like a movie?
There's a movie called Mothman Prophecies.
No, but you said, what did you say?
I sent a group text to our neighbors, and I'm like,
so
dude, it's
funny.
like the Mothman prophecies in here.
It is. We got it. I wish we had it down here. We have a racket, and it electrocutes them. And can we say that?
Probably not. But whatever. Listen, it's an infestation, okay? And if I had a recipe for them, which maybe we'll...
You guys, there'd be like 5, and your windows
I would never eat a moth. But... they're like, it's a problem. They're everywhere. Like, I'm surprised one hasn't popped on right now while we're down here. Every pillow I lift up, my towels in the shower, moth.
And then you think they're dead and they play dead.
Yeah, you give them a whack. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I got it. And then they just bounce back up. They're like Rocky, dude. They just come right back. And they're like, I'm ready for round 2. I can't even go to sleep when I know one's in the room. Like, I saw him yesterday and like he was flying around and I whacked him and I'm like, I don't think I got him. And then what happened? You left for a second and I was watching this great show on Netflix called
Chimp Empire.
Chimp Empire. But there's a lot of moths on the TV. So I didn't know what was happening, if it was on my end or the chimp's end. And it turns out it was on my end.
Jeff goes, is that a moth on our TV or is that in the jungle?
Because there were moths everywhere. Then all of a sudden it was like 3D. I was like, that's in here. And I like pop up and I like start fighting the moth. Dude, I can't stand them. They're everywhere.
And then our next door neighbor, we're all texting, we're in a group and we're all talking about it. And she goes up. She was sleeping and a moth hit her in the face.
They're everywhere. They're a problem. So if you live in Denver, you know what I'm talking about. If not, you probably think I'm crazy.
Buy this racket that electrocutes him because Jeff was so, you couldn't wait.
Someone at my work gave it to me because I was complaining about him at work. So my buddy goes, hey, I got this racket. See if they have another one, because we do these sales on like products sometimes. So I'm like, dude, you got to get me one of those. And some guy, Bobby, hooked me up. He goes, dude, did you want this? He goes like, weird. I'm like, yeah. And Rob's like, dude, did you get him? So I don't, listen. Tony was my buddy.
It flew in that, I call it a racket. It looks like a tennis racket and it lights up. And then Jeff was so happy and it goes bzzz, and it shocked it. But it didn't die.
Oh no, that one was like lit on fire from the inside. It was dead. But it kind of gave me some gratification. And so there is still something in there that still gets pissed all the time about stuff. A dark passenger with me always, and this week it's the moth. But I don't know. We had a moth massacre this last week in here. So hopefully that straightens out and I'll have a new problem next week.
I think if I was your level of
No, we're
extreme,
we're definitely yin and yang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm very...
I don't even know if you could say that anymore.
What, are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. TogetherMess.
Yeah. You're together to my mess. Something
Yes.
like that. Yeah. But what was I saying? I've also learned, you're right, but to pick my battles.
Yeah.
You know? Some things are, some things, I'll deal with it
Sometimes
tomorrow.
it's like period time, and I'm like, I poke little jabs because I'm mad, and I just feel like fighting with you.
And for some reason, when you do get drunk, it's just like, dude, you want to get in the ring.
I do get like
Why
that
is that?
sometimes. I don't know. It just depends on what I'm drinking, and then I get mad. It's okay.
But I didn't even do anything.
Oh, yeah, I get embarrassing. But anyways, well, let's start closing on that. We don't
want to wrap it up
we
on
need
that
to wrap
note?
this up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and wrap it up.
All right. Well, that's episode 2, and I hope we don't get canceled.
I told you, we don't know what landmines are out there. But as we move forward with this, you know what I mean? We're kind of just spitballing here. We're going to get a little more structured, let you guys know what we're talking about more as the podcast come out.
Or even write us on our social handles and be like, oh, I listened to episode 2. I agree with you, Jordan, about sex life and how awesome it is.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But seriously, right? DM me.
You guys know that scene
or
in the
DM
shower.
Jeff and let us know too, because it makes me feel good to know people are listening.
Yeah, that would be nice. But also, like I said, we're going to get you guys up to date on what we're going to talk about. Obviously, we're going to go off the rails sometimes, all the time.
And we would, like I said, we will get more structured.
A little bit. Like if we have a episode dedicated to postpartum and an episode dedicated to Big Brother, Amazing Race, Vandies.
Yeah, we call it Vandies.
Yeah.
And Jeff's obsessed with Below Deck.
You want to talk
that.
Below Deck? I'm in.
Yeah. Every time he gets home from work, that's what he eats his food and watches Below Deck. And I normally
So
just
here,
leave the house.
sometimes, I'm not like a late night owl anymore because I got to work early mornings. And Below Deck's on a Monday. So Tuesday when I get home from work, I'm very excited because Below Deck is on. I missed that last week, so I'm got to watch it. So Tuesdays, I like Below Deck. And then Vanderpump's usually on Wednesdays, and I wait till Thursday, so I'm very excited on Thursdays. Kind of breaks up my week. And then you can listen to TogetherMess on Wednesdays.
Sounds good.
They're like, what happened to this guy?
Yeah. No, it sounds like a plan. But I hope y'all love this episode. Like I said, we're very random, and we will get more structured. Send us comments, things that you like, maybe things you don't like. And
Constructive criticism.
constructive criticism.
But make sure you like it, you subscribe, tell a friend.
Follow us. BB Jordan Lloyd is me.
Jeff Schroeder 23 is me.
And have a great night. Can you say that? Week. Have a great week.
You're offending people now.
Okay, bye.